Hi, we are here with Neil Thurman, Park President here at Busch Gardens, Tampa. We are here at Media Day, brand new Iron Gwazi. So, what do you think? How do you like it? I know you've ridden it, I've ridden the front. I think it's amazing. I want to hear your opinion.
I think it's a spectacular ride. 206 feet in the air, a 91-degree first drop, really sets the tone at the beginning of the ride that you're in for the thrill of a lifetime. Iron Gwazi is the tallest hybrid coaster in North America. It's the tallest coaster in Florida.
Ooh.
It's the fastest and steepest hybrid coaster in the world. So it's an amazing ride. Everyone's loving it. So hope you all come out and enjoy. Iron Gwazi officially opens on March 11th, but previews for our pass holders start this weekend.
Okay, couple questions for you. Now I know Busch Gardens Tampa is all Africa themed. What made you go with crocodiles?
You know, crocodiles are, they're a species that has been around forever. And this is a ride that has come back to life, and it's going to be around for a long time now that we've done Iron Gwazi. So it's perfect mix.
Because I'm like, you had lions and tigers roaring back to life, and crocodiles. I love it. So it's like undervalued species, or is there something behind that?
It's just a perfect mix for this. I mean, a crocodile is a little edgy, a little sneaky, and this ride is full of surprises as you go along.
Oh, especially that first drop, it kind of sneaks up on you. You don't really expect the whip on that 91-degree down.
It's that, and then the 540 barrel roll is just spectacular. High bank turns that you don't see coming. So
I love it.
It's full of surprises.
March 11th. Was there anything particular behind that date? It's been 7 years since the original Gwazi closed. It's been 7 years. Was there any reasoning behind March 11th, or did it just line up perfectly?
March 11th is the start of spring break here in Florida, so that's the whole reason. We wanted to make sure we had it open for spring break, so right at the beginning of spring break, Iron Gwazi opens.
And then when we walk through the queue, is there any kind of Easter eggs or throwbacks to the original Gwazi in there at all?
Yep, take a look, especially when you're in the station. You can actually see, the original Iron Gwazi was a dueling coaster, of course, so you can really see where the other coaster used to go out of the station. We tried to keep that pretty visible so people can kind of see that, and then look around a little bit. You'll probably see some wood that was original to Iron Gwazi.
Ooh, I love it. Repurpose everything. Because I love you guys. I love everything here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. March 11th, come on out.
That's right.
Hello. We're once again here with Jonathon from SeaWorld Busch Gardens Corporate and Jake from RMC. Jake from State Farm RMC. How are you guys doing today?
Hey, we're doing great. Doing well.
So, question, I realized something as I was up there riding halfway through. This is the first time RMC has actually partnered with SeaWorld Entertainment. So, I know you guys have got a great history with all the other parks. I want to know who approached you first.
Well, SeaWorld was very interested in trying to utilize this existing Gwazi attraction that was sitting here dormant since 2015. And so we approached RMC, we talked about the opportunities that we had with the existing portfolio landscape, which was the old lion and tiger Gwazi attraction. And realized very quickly, talking to folks like Jacob at RMC, that we had huge opportunity here. I mean, the original Gwazi attraction had 2 separate tracks, roughly 3,600 feet long each, 100 feet tall, a little over 100 feet. So there was a lot of foundation, a lot of structure opportunity where we could create a really once-in-a-generation unique attraction. So it was a lot of fun. So how did it go during that process?
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. Like we talked about a little bit, the iterative design process back and forth with SeaWorld. We had a lot of input. Was really helpful. We love the palette. Typically we have a ride path that we need to stick to and follow. This one, with the opportunity to jump back and forth, we went way outside the lines on this. Gave us the opportunity to just create something completely different, which I think really fits nicely. Yeah, we realized really quickly from initial discussions and some concept layouts that we've worked on previously that we wanted something unique. We wanted tall, we wanted speed, we wanted airtime, and so we wanted to generate a hyper hybrid, a 200+ foot hybrid coaster experience. And one of the fun challenges that we kind of work together on is, well, where do we put the high point of the ride? Where's the 200+ feet, 206 here today? Where's that crest of that lift hill gonna be? And we found out very quickly, kind of going back and forth through collaboration, that we had to generate a new lift hill location to get everything to work and fit in with the existing foundations and structure on the ride. And so one thing many people may not realize is the Iron Gwazi lift hill is actually a new location. It's like veered off 30 degrees from the lion
Hawaiian lift hill. So it's kind of cool. So we had to fit everything and to get it all fit to work. And like you said, you jump from one side to the other side on the existing portfolio that we had to work there. But it's an amazing attraction. It is North America's tallest and the world's fastest and steepest hybrid coaster. One thing many people also may not realize, it does feature the world's longest drop for a hybrid coaster. So we worked with Jake to kind of create a trenched area at the bottom of that first drop so we can make sure we can get that record-breaking 206-foot long drop. You experience it pretty fast. You're 76 miles an hour. It's a 91-degree angle, so you do feel a little bit inverted as you're maneuvering that element. But it's incredible. What about the rest of the ride?
Yeah, the rest of the ride just, I saw it a lot when people were getting off today. They just had to, I have to process that. You know, there was a lot of, I need to process that and then ride it again. It comes at you fast, ton of speed, ton of just fun elements, and SeaWorld's input really with the airtime on this really turned it into just, it's a ton of floater air. You're out of your seat a lot for long periods of time. It's just tons of fun. I mean, that's the big part about the Gator roll is you're just kind of floating through the thing. You feel like an astronaut.
Question a lot of people have that I know I have, and I know a lot of people were asking when they saw what you guys were actually doing in the attraction. What was the reasoning behind not keeping the original dueling aspect of the ride and instead of going from 2 to the 1? What was the reasoning behind that? Was that something that SeaWorld wanted to do? Was that something that RMC looked at and they're like, there was no way we can do this? Where did that come in?
We did study different concepts of different variations. We looked at dueling, we looked at, Mobius type layouts, we looked at single track layouts. It just made sense. We wanted speed, we wanted, some great records, world records. We wanted to have good airtime, good drop, a really good drop, a straight drop. So we kind of came to the palette where we are right now is Iron Gwazi is exactly what we were looking for after, several months of back and forth discussions and conversations, kind of geared that this was the best use of the existing layout that we had to work with. So it's an amazing ride.
And then how do you feel, I got to ask you personally, how do you feel every time you guys do something, you guys do it a little bit different? So like this a little bit taller, a little bit faster than a couple of the other ones. Do you have like an attachment to one or the other? Is there one that you favor? Is there a certain element that you like, or like you're like, oh, I wish we could have done this, or something you could have done differently?
Yeah, I think you always need to be working on improving on elements. So, we go ride other coasters and we think, what if we tweaked it a little bit like this? Because every client wants a unique ride, and we want to put out unique rides. So the idea is how do we start from this baseline and make slight changes to make it its own and make it a little bit different experience. And we did a ton of that on Iron Gwazi.
Oh man, I'm like, man, you had a lot of wood. You had a lot of wood to work with.
Uh-huh.
And then the fact that this was ready to open 2020, and then we had the whole pandemic, shut everything down, and a lot of everybody noticed that during that time while it was closed, that a little bit more work went on. What was that about?
Yeah, that was funny to kind of read some of the social media posts going on there. Really what that was, that's part of the annual inspection process on the structure.
Okay.
So we actually hired RMC to come in, take a look at all the bolts, wood to wood connections, wood to steel, steel to steel. Just part of the requirements from the ride manufacturer to check everything on an annual basis. So that's really what that was all about.
Nothing.
So everyone was going crazy when RMC was back on the ride. Really, they're just going through a full inspection process. No different than what we would do on a steel coaster, a wood coaster, a hybrid wood coaster. It's all part of the aspect of maintaining attractions.
Okay, so you haven't noticed anything that's happened like in the last 2 years, because I know we've had a lot of weather here in Florida. Was there a challenge with that, designing it down here, especially with a hybrid?
Yeah, why don't you talk about the Florida, wind and temperature environments?
Yeah, the wind blows down here in Florida, and it blows pretty fast sometimes. So we have a lot of pipe batters, hurricane bracing essentially, because these tall wooden structures become a giant sail for the wind. So they have to be braced properly. So you'll notice on this ride, I think they blend in pretty well, honestly, but you'll notice on this ride there's a lot of steel pipe batters bracing off of the wood, especially in the high points or the points where we're on the edge of the property and didn't have room to expand the wooden structure at all. So those are really the main challenges, is just making the proper adjustments for the height that we wanted to stabilize the ride.
So Category 5, not a problem, right? Bring it.
We won't operate the ride in Category 5. Yeah, designed per code per the local wind restrictions. Absolutely.
And I know you've been down here, and some people will remember back a couple years ago when it rained a lot. I think it was like a tropical storm hit the area, and cheetah hunt kind of flooded. Everyone remembers those pictures. That's not going to happen here. You guys got good drainage, everything else like that. You took that into account because you said you had to dig down for that bottom of that drop.
Yep, you create a pit, but you also have storm drainage connections to it. So we have water level sensors and things like that. So first, it's built for storm events.
I love that. I love that. So you have everything all covered. So no.
We have a lot of those conversations during the design before we start building it. Absolutely.
So do you find that challenging being down here versus like somewhere, say in like some other colder parts, like New England?
Every region has its own challenges. There's always weather that has to be considered and the environment that has to be considered, and sometimes topo. Obviously, topography wasn't a huge issue here on site. So, but yeah. Every specific region has its challenges.
One thing about weather and constructing the ride, so one thing Florida is known for is raining about every day at 2 to 4 p.m.
I think it used to be 3. I think it's now 4, like 5. Yeah.
So like it was fun kind of talking through the construction process prior. We were working with RMC, so you do realize it's going to rain for 2 hours, really hard. Every single day. So they accommodated that schedule, and you started your day significantly earlier than what you normally do. I mean, I think you were showing up at 4 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
When you normally would show up at 7:30 or 8 or something like that.
Oh.
So, but you have to, that's one aspect of constructing attractions or buildings or projects in the state of Florida. That's just a reality in life.
Plus you got our awesome Florida life in the sun. Must have been great.
Absolutely. Yeah, starting at 4 in the morning, it lets you beat the sun a little bit too.
Yeah,
That's from Idaho. We're not used to this intensity.
And all of us are like, wait, where's the sun? It's 50 degrees. Let's wear 7 layers. You're like, oh, 50's nice.
That's right.
Cool. Last question for both of you. What's your favorite moment on the ride?
I think my favorite moment would be the fly by the station when we do that kind of breaking wave turn. It's a little unique from what we've done on other rides, and it's just a great float. It's got a nice snap into it, not too much, and I love that area.
What about you?
My favorite is the first element after the drop. It's the outward bank curve. Just love the float that you have through that element. I mean, it's just fantastic.
So you're definitely a floater fan?
I'm a floater fan.
And you? Floater or ejector?
Oh, I like them all.
Do you like being pressed in too?
Pressed in?
Yeah, like all those negative G's that you experience.
Why not?
Why not? Well, thank you guys so much. I'm looking forward to seeing more partnerships like this in the future. It's so nice to see you guys branching out. Love it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.